What's cracking, everybody? XehrFelrose here, bringing you some Pokemon Go Battle League content. In today's video, we're taking a look at some games submitted to the channel by fellow member of the community and content creator here on YouTube, Mr. Tamagotchi. If you'd like to check out his content, which I recommend doing so, he's a great dude and content creator here on YouTube. You can check him out. Link in the pinned comment and description to his channel. Takes a run to veteran in the Great League with the little pancake Unovan Stunfisk, sporting that nice core-breaking potential of ground and electric. It's the electric that beats all the other electrics because of its ground typing. And in order to give it a good backup against mud slaps, because those are pretty much going to be the most common things that are going to be a problem other than grass types, we're going to have a Chestnut, which is pretty decent into other grass types as well. But we also are going to have Talonflame. So this team, I was told, is not going to be some sort of a safe swap bait out sort of team. It's a balanced team in which you're just going to stay in, play the matchups, and hopefully be able to core break some of the teams that are running around in the Great League. This team looks pretty strong. Let's take a look at it go here in the Great League. Starting with the first game, we have a bit of a core breaker for ourselves here. We're going to have a Alolan Sandslash on the lead. Now, the nice thing here is that the Unovan Stunfisk can slap this with Mud Bombs, but the opponent decides to save switch a Gastrodon. And I have seen a very disturbing number of people safe swap Gastrodon. Trainers, unless that thing is sporting Water Pulse, there is no case in which it is ever safe to just safe switch a Gastrodon. You should be instead trying to use something a little bit more flexible, like a Quagsire, or even like, Donphan or Kanto Marowak, really anything. Because exactly what has happened here, if your opponent has a grass type in the back, they can just simply farm it all the way down with this Chestnut and get 2 shields for free. Superpowered, doing double super effective damage. It doesn't matter. Shield advantage with the Talonflame is going to be all she wrote here. Good game to the opponent. Kanto Marowak would have always been the better safe switch there. Do not safe switch your Gastrodon. Safe switch the thing with more flexibility. Next game, we have another positive lead here, being in the Shadow Drapion. However, Unovan Stunfisk does have to take care for these Aqua Tails. They would add up quite a bit, and the opponent looks to make a very nice catch. Tamagotchi trying to overfarm and catch them off guard, but opponent says, nah, watch this. In comes Chestnut, and even though Chestnut is part fighting type, its damage is all really centered into its grass moveset, so it's not going to have a very bad time here in the Corsola, and outpaces pretty nicely. And, man, those Frenzy Plants hurt. Now, Chestnut can easily tank a Nightshade here. It's up to the opponent if they want to try to go for Switch. I like the timing here by Tamagotchi. He's going for 4 and then the move, not giving into the temptation to throw sooner than that. But the opponent could shield and take Switch if they want, but it looks like they've decided to just opt to take the shields and keep them and let the Drapion go for its farm down here. Now, the Drapion gets to Aqua Tails every 4 Poison Stings, and it's already at another one. Drapion already dealing with its hardest counter on this team. That Talonflame is not going to be difficult for it if it has the Aqua Tails. Oh, no, not the Gator, dude! But with the shield advantages, it's not as bad as it looks. Tamagotchi just needs to be able to get to 2 flies here, and with 2 shields, I think that that's certainly possible, because we can shield on the next Hydro Cannon, and then go ahead and shield the next for charge attack priority, and hopefully that's going to be enough to take this game, because for Alligator into Talonflame is bad. Why didn't we just kill it, man? For Alligator wins cap. Why didn't the opponent throw? What is happening? What is happening? The opponent had 2 moves for sure, man. All right. So the opponent probably could have won this game, potentially. Tamagotchi's best move there probably would have been to throw right away, but then again, the Drapion gets to a move, so he won. Who cares? Good game. I'm overanalyzing everything. It doesn't matter. He got the W. Anyway, speaking of good leads, I probably am speaking out of my rear end anyway. He probably did everything fine in that game, so I'm not gonna worry about it. Next game though, Kutra gonna swap in on the safe swap here on the opponent's side. That is a core breaker and a half for this team. Talonflame is gonna come in to sacrifice itself to this Goodra as tribute. Just say, please don't hurt my friends. Please don't hurt my friends. We're already having a bad day because we need to deal with the Morpeko in the lead. Because Morpeko, honestly, Chestnut and Stunfisk can deal with it just fine. But if that Morpeko has the opportunity to get some farm like this right here, this could be trouble here. Now, Stunfisk never has to shield this first move. unless the opponent's running Seed Bomb, which most don't. By the way, Morpeko has Seed Bomb, and it one-shots a lot of ground types. It's kind of cool. Anyway, mostly the water ground types, but Mud Bomb is going to be able to do super effective damage. The opponent is essentially forced to shield here, and they are down a shield. I'll expect them to swap out at some point, most likely. But for now, we're easily able to stay in this matchup. Opponent looks to be going for Psychic Fangs baits, which is fine, but here's the problem with the Psychic Fangs baits, is that they're never going to be able to throw and move when they're in the electric form. So, oh, not the dude! No! Just save the Chestnut for the Peko, man! See, here's my thinking, chat, right? Or not chat. You're not in one of my streams, but we do stream Monday, Wednesday. Not Monday, Wednesday. That's my old schedule. Bro, I'm tired if y'all can't tell. I'm doing this on a Sunday morning, and I did not sleep very well. But anyway, no, the Chestnut would have been perfectly fine into the Morpeko here. If all it can do is hit for Psychic Fangs, right? And the Aura Wheels are completely resisted, would have probably been better to just stay in with the Unovan Stunfisk into the Chestnut. Or, bro, you can tell how tired I am. My brain is in like 4 different places. Stay in with the Stunfisk against the Talonflame, and then let Chestnut finish up the game against the Morpeko. But unfortunately, it looks like this game's going to be a loss here as the Stunfisk goes down to the Psychic Fangs as my confusion spreads into the rest of my brain. Good game. Another Corebreaker in the lead here in this next game. Talonflame's coming in immediately, and a Morpeko drops in to spoil the fun. But the opponent is going to be able to get to a move before the Talonflame here, and the Aura Wheel will be shielded. This is not a great matchup, but the nice thing here for the Talonflame is that it can absolutely just farm down in the 2 shields, I do believe. So going for Incinerate down here might just be the play, unless the opponent lets him move through like a bozo! Oh, that's the stuff I would do, man. Throwing on alignment allows the full Incinerate to sneak through, and that is just something you never want to do. And now Tamagotchi has the opponent right where he wants him, as this Chestnut will be locked on to this Quagsire. The opponent trying to go for a farm down, but the Brave Bird is reached. Oh, my button's not open. I got to do it myself. Kaboom! Taken out. Didn't even take out the Chestnut. Doesn't matter. What's in the back, Corsola? This is fine. This is more than fine. Chestnut and Unovan Stunfisk can tag team this one together, doing plenty of damage with these Frenzy Plants, and all the Unovan Stunfisk will have to do is get to a move. So this is going to be a good game here. Really no contest. It's 2 Frenzy Plants, even though Corsola is absolutely stacked on bulk. Frenzy Plants are going to rip through it like butter. Hot knife through butter. Good game. Don't blink, though. We got another game. And we got a Dugong. Another Corebreaker to this team, but everything here has the ability to hit the Dugong just as well. So going for a discharge here on 7, right before the opponent's going to be able to get to their Icy Wind to mitigate this damage, is a really good call here. I don't really know if there's any merit to really swapping out. The thing is that Dugong often gets paired with things that are weak to flying in the back. So Talonflame could have had a good time against this team, but we swap into the Talonflame here, and now the Dugong has the Talonflame right where he wants it. Is the opponent, however, going to decide to just stop tapping? Okay, well then in comes Unovan Stunfisk, and now that Unovan Stunfisk is on the field, it looks like the opponent does have something that is strong to flying as well. But has decided to either lag out, stop tapping, I don't know, but I mean, whatever happens here is, look, it happens to everybody, man. Once in a while, we just get games where something's lagging, something's not happening right, but the opponent concedes because their back line seems to be weak to the Chestnut, or they're just mad because they lost all that energy. Honestly, I would be too. Bro's picking up a 4-1 on his way to veteran here, and we get into the next set. Unovan Stunfisk on the lead against an Emolga, a god tier. This is triple S tier leads, dude. Holy! And then the opponent safe swaps into a Shadow Sableye. Now, we don't really have an answer to this, but Shadow Sableye is incredibly frail for the most part. So Talonflame can come in now, and if it needs to, it can go ahead and 2-shield Incinerate down. The problem with that, though, is that we only have the flying type damage here in order to be able to hit that Emolga, so it's all going to be resisted, but the opponent not able to get to another move. excuse me, goes down to the Incinerates, and Talonflame's just looking to get off as much damage as it can before this Emolga most likely is going to just try and farm it down. But the opponent going for the Discharge right as they get to it, going for 2 and then the move. Excellent timing by the opponent here. Discharge is going to knock out the Talonflame, and the opponent is holding on to a shield advantage. But honestly, they're not looking too bad, and the opponent has a Diggersby in the back. Diggersby, however, is going to have a bad time in this with this Chestnut matchup, because even though it can throw Fire Punch does not do 50%. It needs 2 Fire Punches, but the quick attacks, now that it doesn't need to run Mudshot anymore, quick attacks will ease up that matchup and allow you to know whether you're doing the 2 shields. What are you doing with those shields, man? You always shield that Diggersby. What are you doing, Diggersby? Throwing the game into the toilet and flushing it all in one motion. And the opponent's going to come back in with the Emolga. Emolga with 2 shields is not going to be the win condition here. Unfortunately for the opponent, I think they realized it a little bit too late here, as Diggersby was the way to win this game. Good game to the opponent. There's no move in which you don't shield that. I think they were trying to call a Thunder Punch bait, but I don't think it's ever safe to assume that Chestnut is running Thunder Punch. Opponent has a Diggersby, they save switch it in comes the Chestnut to ruin its day, and the opponent is not throwing their Fire Punches right away. Now, I have seen a couple of Scorching Sands Hyper Beam Diggersbys. Let's see if the opponent is rocking the same moveset. They might know that they only need 2 moves here, but is please be Hyper. It's Hyper Beam Diggies, let's go! Even though they're not going to be able to win this matchup, I respect the match. Oh, I respect the spice. I did not have any, I don't think they were going to be running that. That is wild. Okay. Like, when you don't see them throw on 5 into a Chestnut, like, you have to think, right? Is this trainer, oh, dude, that is the nastiest. No. I want to take a moment and give this opponent their due. They ran Hyper Beam Diggersby, and my goodness, if they were able to win Switch, that would have been fantastic. Bro, no, hats off to the opponent. They got RPS'd into oblivion in that game, but they get some respect for that Hyper Beam. All right, next game up, we got Talonflame. Really nice lead for the Ufisk, because we can pretty much always outpace here. Opponent's going to go into a Malamar. Do we really have a response for this, though? That's the question. I think that you just have to come in with Talonflame. Getting the chip here is really nice, because Talonflame should be able to get a nice Incinerate down, or at least pressure the Malamar with a Fly at some point. But the Foul Play would do enough damage that this is a bit of a dangerous matchup for it to stay in for too long. So we're going to see Tamagotchi fire off the Fly pretty much right away after that 3rd Incinerate here, and look to get a shield off the opponent. But now that you've gotten that shield, this is an easy opportunity to just Incinerate down and apply the energy to the next matchup, where even though it's all flying type damage, it's fine. And the opponent, their Talonflame, they can't just eat this. They cannot Incinerate down from here, and they are going to be forced to shield this. Brave Bird will get knocked the heck out, and in comes Ufisk against the Guzzlord. And you would think that this is a bad matchup for the Ufisk, but in reality, the bulk of the Ufisk and the ability to spam out Mud Bombs makes this a little bit more neutral than it looks. But Chestnut having the superpowers probably would have had a little bit more, benefit to this matchup. Though the opponent is not, no, there's lag. Okay, you can never tell if they quit or if it's lag, dude. This game is in such a starry state, man. But the Ufisk, that's the thing, right? Talonflame is so low that Chestnut can probably deal with it at this point. But Talonflame just coming in to just get rocked here. And now the Chestnut's going to come in and look to get a farm down, apply the energy in the superpower, or just farm down the Talonflame in general. They are not going to be able to make it. Superpower's coming out, but I don't think that the opponent's Guzzlord has enough energy or anything for that matter to be able to knock out, unless they got that Sludge Bomb banked. They have the Sludge... Dude, they got Sludge Bomb. This is going to be close. Do they have the Sludge Bomb? No, they have Dragon Claw, but it's enough anyway. Ufisk comes in for the Thunder Shock down, and that was a complicated game, but it worked out. Good game. Personally, in hindsight, I think the correct play is just to come in with a Chestnut, build up to double superpower, and just let him rip, because Guzzlord does not appreciate seeing those. Now we see an awkward lead here in the next game where we have Wigglytuff against this Ufisk, and Ufisk is kind of forced to stay in because Chestnut does not appreciate seeing this. I think at some point I would expect to see Tamagotchi dump out into the Talonflame, perhaps after shielding a after shielding the Icy Wind or letting the Icy Wind go, which is fine, a lot of the times you see Wigglytuff backed up by Mud Slappers, so I think that this actually makes a lot of sense. And getting the switch advantage or shield advantage here is going to be very nice, as the opponent would be forced to shield if they want the alignment, but they have the Gastrodon in back, so I would be very, very surprised if this is not just a double Mud Slap team. Now, the thing with the opponent here, oh, they have a Drifblim, never mind, this is raw. Oh, wait a minute now. All right, well, they concede, but here's the thing, right? So, if the opponent was running double Mud Slap, right, their prerogative would have been eventually to swap out into something to try and draw out perhaps the Chestnut, right? Ufisk is a very neutral lead, so if you ever decide to play something like Wiggly Double Mud Slap, just keep in mind that if you're playing like a double backline team where both Pokemon are similar typing, like double ground, double flying, what have you, you want to be making sure... You want to be making sure that at some point you swap out to try and draw out whatever the opponent might have in the back that would ruin your backline. You don't want to let the Wiggly get too low. Now, the opponent has a Galarian Corsola. I finally finished a Galarian Corsola with decent trade IVs. It's not high rank by any means. It's like 93rd percentile or something like that, according to PokeGenie, but it does the job, and my goodness, this thing is disgusting. Now we're going to be going for a Discharge here. Discharge does do slightly more damage or slightly more energy than Mud Bomb. Opponent's going to come in with that Drapion, but they're going to be able to get to the charge move here before the Stunfisk can get to it because, again, they are rocking the Aqua Tail. Aqua Tail is going to leave the Ufisk with 1 HP, bro! He was ready to let it go. He was ready to say, you know what, Stunfisk, you did your job, but now the Talonflame can come in and clown all over this Drapion. We're going to get a full farm down. Nope, going for the move here. Opponent going for good timing, throwing on 7. Incredible. They're going to be able to go for another Aqua Tail before getting incinerated down here. So quite unfortunate for Tamagotchi having to take 2 Aqua Tails in the process, but Talonflame energy is always good energy. We're going to see the opponent come in with their Corsola, and if they want to shield this, that would be a problem for them because there's another fly already banked on this Talonflame. Opponent going to let it go, and then comes an Annihilate. Annihilate is going to get hit by a fly or they're going to be forced to shield, but here's the thing. There is no easy way out for this because now this... Goodness gracious, I almost had it. I was doing so good. This Annihilate is going to be able to ramp up its counter damage, and the unfortunate thing here is that we have to get to 2. We have to get to 2. He has to survive 3. He has to survive 3 counters. No, 2 counters. He's at the double up. All right. 1 for the road, 2 for the money, or is it 1 for the money? No, apparently. What? Why would you not shield, trainer? What are you? Well, you know what? Who cares? We take those. A straight 5-0 rip up to the veteran rank in the Go Battle League. Congratulations, Tamagotchi. On your opponent's trying to call shield baits wrong, and we always... I mean, he had 2 moves anyway. It doesn't matter. But it's just, man, sometimes it works out that way, and that's okay because we all take those, and we all know that we take them however we can get them. Anyway, no disrespect, of course, to any of the opponents. Or Tamagotchi, man, these are some good battles regardless. They're a really funky team, and I like it. So that's going to do it for me for today's video, guys. Thank you very much. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.